Berlin shamed. Angela Merkel was humiliated on social media after only rescue 7 people. Angela Merkel was humiliated on social media after it was reported that a German military plane only managed to save 7 people from Kabul this morning. The first of several German military planes to arrive in Kabul was able to evacuate only 7 people, a foreign policy spokesman in Chancellor Angela Merkel's party said, due to chaos at the Afghan capital's airport. The main mission of the A400M military transport plane, in what Defense Minister Annegret Kramp-Karrenbauer described as a breakneck landing, was to bring in German soldiers to organize and secure the evacuation. "We have a very chaotic, dangerous and complex situation at the airport," she told broadcaster ARD. "We had very little time, so we only took on board people who were on site. Due to the chaotic situation, not many were able to be at the airport. 7 people made it on board the aircraft," Conservative CDU/CSU parliamentary group foreign policy spokesman Johann Wadifel told broadcaster Deutschlandfunk. The news sparked outrage on social media, with Twitter users shaming German Chancellor Angela Merkel for the seemingly failed mission. One person said, "German efficiency always seems to fail when it's most required." And another one, "Glad to see the Allies are doing their share." Someone else echoed, "So much for efficiency." To which another user replied, "German efficiency is a myth." A third person added, "Typical Germany these days." Military flights to evacuate diplomats and civilians from Afghanistan were suspended on Monday as people trying to flee after Taliban insurgents seized Kabul crowded the runway. Flights resumed early on Tuesday. Germany is now waiting for the United States to grant it permission to fly a second aircraft in. Kramp-Karrenbauer said she hoped that the airport could be kept open for several days so that as many people as possible could be evacuated via an air bridge. The German military is using Tashkent as a hub to which it plans to bring evacuated people. "Now it is important that we can set up everything on the ground so that we can get people out," Kramp-Karrenbauer said. "Those are not only German citizens, they are also local staff, at-risk people. We will also support other countries," she added. Germany said on Monday it would airlift thousands of German-Afghan dual nationals as well as human rights activists, lawyers and other people who worked with NATO forces in the country. Mrs. Merkel warned that Afghans fleeing to neighboring countries could make their way to Europe, in a repeat of the 2015 migrant crisis, if they do not receive sufficient humanitarian assistance. Germany opened its borders 6 years ago to more than 1 million migrants, many of them Syrians, fleeing war and poverty, a move that won Merkel plaudits abroad but which eroded her political capital at home. She plans to stand down after a September 26 federal election. Armin Laschet, the Christian Democratic Union, CDU, chairman running to succeed her, called for future military interventions abroad to have a clear goal, timeline and exit strategy. The lesson of the last 20 years is that the goal of regime change, to intervene militarily to end a dictatorship in order to build a democracy, has almost universally failed, he said in Rostock in northern Germany. The poll for Bild am Sonntag put support for the Social Democratic Party, SPD, at 18%, pointing for the first time in this year's election campaign to a majority for a three-way coalition led by the left-leaning party. The Greens were also at 18%, and the business-friendly Free Democrats, FDP, at 12%, the poll showed. Together, the three would have 48% support and a majority for a traffic light coalition, so called after their respective colors, as support for other parties totaled 8%. Parties must surpass a 5% threshold to win seats in parliament. The poll put support for Chancellor Angela Merkel's Conservatives at 26%. The far-right AfD was at 11% and the leftist Link at 7%. Merkel, in power since 2005, plans to stand down after the election. Armin Laschet, the conservative candidate to succeed Merkel as chancellor, has suffered a slump in support after he was seen laughing on a visit to a flood-stricken town. The SPD has gone on the attack, scenting a chance to win. Laschet languished on 14%, 1 point ahead of the Greens candidate, Annalena Baerbock, on 13%.